The Marksman stars Liam Neeson, Jacob Perez, and is directed by Robert Lorenz. And it tells the story of a rancher in Arizona, played by Liam Neeson, who has to take this boy from Arizona to his family in Chicago when a series of unfortunate events happens at the border between Arizona and Mexico. When it comes to Liam Neeson movies, I am always on board for them no matter what the story is for him, because not only do I think he's a really great actor, I think he's a really great person. He seems really cool in interviews, seems like a really nice person. So he adds credibility to all of his movies, whether his movies end up being really bad or really good. And I didn't see any of the trailers for this movie. I didn't even see any of the TV spots that were playing on TV for a couple of reasons. Number one, I knew this movie was coming out. I knew this movie, The Marksman, was coming out with Liam Neeson. And I just said, okay, that's all I want to know. I want to see what the film has to offer without seeing a trailer. But the second reason is that a lot of his action movies tend to be kind of the same. They follow a simple formula. And while The Marksman does follow a certain formula from other movies that we've seen before, I really like this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. I looked up some critical reviews after I saw the movie, and they are pretty low. It's got a pretty low rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but also at the same time, critics really feel the same way about all of Liam Neeson's action movies. I mean, Honest Thief, that just came out last year, Nonstop, Run All Night. Even the first Taken movie has some kind of mixed to negative reviews. So I don't really pay attention to what the critics say about Liam Neeson action movies, because typically, normally, I know what I'm getting into when I go to see one of his movies. Now, like I said, the movie does follow a certain formula, and when it comes to these movies that Liam Neeson tends to make, these action movies, you go in to see a couple of things. You want to see Liam Neeson be a really cool guy. You want to see him do some cool action. You want to see an okay plot, but you don't really care about the plot because Liam Neeson's on screen and he adds credibility and likability, and he's really good in his action roles. And you do get that with The Marksman. However, I was surprised about something else. There's a lot of similarities in this movie to the movie Logan, obviously without all the X-Men superpower stuff, but it does follow a similar, almost identical path to what Logan did. This older guy, Liam Neeson, likes to be alone, he's kind of grumpy, has to take this kid from point A to point B while some bad guys are chasing after him. You know, that's pretty much the plot of Logan, only this movie does the same thing, but obviously, again, without all the superpower stuff, and with an okay villain. I'll just say that. I'm not going to give it away, but the villain is something we have seen in a bunch of other movies, especially action movies before, that you kind of see where they're going with him. But was it well handled with the villain? I say yeah. I thought it was pretty well handled. But going back really quickly to the similarities between this movie and Logan, I can see if some people saw this movie and just didn't like it or were turned off by the whole movie because of that. I completely get that. It didn't really bother me though, simply because I did feel like at times it was trying to do its own thing and it was trying to go in its own route. It's just borrowing similar story aspects from Logan. And in that way, to me, it felt more of a homage instead of just completely ripping off. However, I did think about this. If they weren't intending to homage Logan, and it was just a pure coincidence that this movie is very similar to Logan, well, then that's a pretty big coincidence. But I like to think that the filmmakers probably, or Liam Neeson, I don't know, probably saw Logan, said, that was really good, let's try to make a movie kind of like that, only without all the superpower stuff. And if that was their intention, then I thought they did a pretty good job with it. I thought for the most part, this movie is well handled. The action's really fun. I really like the chemistry between Liam Neeson and the kid, Jacob Perez, that he has to take. The kid's acting in the movie is kind of 50-50. There's times where he really delivers on some of the more emotional stuff he has to give, but then other times he does feel like he's just kind of being a bit bland. And when you have a kid actor, it's kind of really hard to get past the blandness because, you know, he's a kid. I can't really give too much criticism about it because he's just a kid. He's probably going to grow up and do a whole bunch of other movies, and he might even be one of the best actors of his generation. Who knows? But as of now in this movie, again, 50-50. Some parts he was really good, some parts he was kind of bland in. But the chemistry he has with Liam Neeson, I feel like, are the bright spots of his performance. However, a downside to the movie, and I can feel like some people are going to think this is a big downside. In fact, I could even see some people thinking of this as, what's the word? Shit, I forgot. I just had it and I forgot it. False advertisement, that's what it is. I could see some people thinking what I'm about to talk about next is kind of false advertisement, but for a movie called The Marksman, he doesn't really do much Marksman-related stuff. It is completely understandable if someone saw the trailers for this movie or the posters or anything like that, and they were expecting another action movie with marksman-related stuff that Liam Neeson does. Now, Liam Neeson's character was a marksman. I forgot what war he said he served in the movie, but he was a marksman at the war he served in. So that part of the story is true. However, he doesn't really do anything marksman-related with like a rifle or anything until he does one at the beginning of the movie, but that really kind of doesn't count. Anything like long distance that people were hoping for, none of that happens until the very end of the movie. But, however, what I think, the ending is really good. I actually really like the ending. And it kind of made up for the fact that there wasn't really any marksman-related stuff throughout the entire movie. The rest of the movie is more of a character study between Liam Neeson, who's playing this grumpy older man. He's a rancher in Arizona. He just wants to be left alone after his wife died. And now he's got to take this kid to his family in Chicago, which he doesn't want to. So he does a lot of bonding with this kid. This kid doesn't even want to go with Liam Neeson because of something that happened in the beginning of the movie. Again, no spoilers. So the movie's kind of a character study. It's focusing on these two characters. They're completely different from each other, but they have to learn to deal with each other. And again, we've seen this before, and you could look at it as they're not doing anything different. They're just doing similar stuff that we have seen in other movies before. If you were turned off by that, then I completely get it. However, I like to look at it as, okay, if you're going to do something similar than what we've seen in a bunch of other movies before, I want to look at it as how well is it done? And I think for the most part, it was done really well, and I really like The Marksman because of it. I'll definitely be picking this movie up on Blu-ray when it comes out. However, for the casual audience, I would say you can wait for the Redbox for this movie. This isn't one that you need to see. However, if you're a big Liam Neeson fan, then I would say, yeah, go ahead and check this one out. But for the casual audience, you can wait for the Redbox. You're not really missing too much in this movie. So guys, that concludes my review of The Marksman. Like always, if you've seen the movie, let me know your thoughts and opinions on it down in the comment section. And what's your favorite Liam Neeson action movie? I'm not talking about like his big roles like something like Star Wars: The Phantom Menace or anything like that. Just his individual independent action films that he makes. But like always, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions on all of that down in the comment section. And just like always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I have a lot more videos that I've planned, so look forward to all that coming very soon. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe right here if you haven't already. And I will see you all next time.